করতে পারবো? কি খাবো? So that was the question, কি খাবো? The first question that came to me, what am I going to have tonight? No food. So when I took English on, everybody, including my mother, said, look, my son, no poor man can study English. You are a poor man, you are a poor boy of a poor family. Go and read agriculture. At that time in Bengal, agriculture was a new stream. It was coming up. A lot of my friends were joining agriculture because you could get jobs at bank and in financial sector and agricultural sector. But I wanted to read Shakespeare. I wanted to read Shelley Keats' Fire. I wanted to read T.S. Eliot. There was no poetry book in my family. Even there was no Tagore. I came to know in my childhood, I came to know about Tagore only from radio. A radio which was speaking to me from the next door house. Because at that time radio was popular. So I started hearing some lyrics of Tagore from radio. So no money to buy, even Gitu Bitan, the book that I feel I will die with one book in my life. If there is only one book you allow me to die with, that is Gitu Bitan, the songs, all the songs, nearly 3,000 songs by Tagore, and they are greater poems, not just songs. So I will die with the book on my side. So I wanted to read international poetry. I was, I, it, as if I was banned. I was not allowed to enter into that space, even in the college. So I started reading East European poetry, Latin American poetry. And somewhere, I didn't find myself, I couldn't situate myself in the poetry of John Keats or Shelley or Byron. I taught them for 35 years. And still I felt I wasn't lucky. When I read first time in my life, even after Subhash Mukhopadhyay translated Pablo Neruda into Bengali, and which became almost a household book in Bengal. So Pablo Neruda, we have a way of saying da 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 da, Chonko da, Subhas da, Niren da, Shunin da, Shokti da, and Neruda became my dada, a kind of. Understand? Neruda. He became another dada. As if my poem. So tonight I can write the saddest line. Like, for example, the night is scary and she's not with me. Someone is singing in the distance. Someone is singing. So these were the lines when I was entering into the territory which I was possibly not allowed to, but I was. So this is how I gradually I realized the power of poetry. How powerful it is. I just give you a funny story. I had no ticket at that time as a student, and I was halted by checkers at Howrah station. I had no ticket. There was no ticket in my pocket, right? And the ticket examiner, they asked me, yes, you have ticket. I said, I have poems in my head, but no ticket in pocket. Oh, rubbish. Everybody says like that. You are a college student? I don't know, no. It's university. University? It cannot happen like that. Then I thought he was going to take me to police station or in the station, in the booth. Then I was really shocked. And what is going to happen? All my friends would laugh. Then I realized the power of poetry. I told him wait, and I started reading out, from my memory. Tonight I can write the saddest lines. Write, for example, the night is dead. three lines, four lines. He heard, oh yes, this is very good. Go, you go, you go. No problem, you go. So this is what I realized the power of the young student, and it connects me. You just think about the first Prime Minister of India reading Robert Frost. Think of Kennedy in America quoting Robert Frost. Miles to go before I sleep. And so just you imagine the power. You think about the power of Maya Angelou. What a terrible life that she had in her childhood. And when Clinton invited her to read her poem at the coronation, it was the power. It's all the power of beauty. So I realized it at the Howrah station when the checker came. That was really something that different. I'm coming to another poem. It is about Mollika. Mollika Sengupta, you know that she died in March. She died young at the age of 50. And she was already a big name in Bengal as a writer, as a poet. Many of you who are sitting here today have met her before, I think. Anamika, you also met her, no? And Nirmalda was our mentor in Kolkata at that time, so Nirmalda knows her well. Um, I wrote this poem. I wrote almost a book after she passed. But this one is a very small one. I would like to read out to you. A short poem. This poem is called A Moth in the Universe. মথ বাংলায় মথ হিন্দিতে কি রিমলদা হিন্দিতে কি বলে মথ প্রজাপতি যেগুলো হ্যাঁ তিতলি নাহি তিতলি moth for the star, that famous line. Huh? Patang. Acha, 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 acha. You are patang hai na? A moth in the universe. After a walk for thousands of years, today I suddenly understood that man is an ant, eaten by an ant. That man is just after the death of my wife, after radiation, after surgery, after chemotherapy. It's a battle. Those who are around her. She was on a deathbed. But I was standing outside the hospital with my son, who was a school student at that time. He's now doing PhD in America. He was a small boy. So we were smoking almost every night outside the hospital. After a walk for thousands of years, today I suddenly understood that man is an ant, eaten by an ant. After Holocaust, nuclear explosion, and gene mapping, I realized, trust me, I realized man is a caterpillar. After love and lovemaking, malice and joy, I accepted the that man is but a moth in the universe, with a burden of another universe. And who saved me is that man from Magad who used to speak. I was asking Bhutinaranji this morning. The, that man used to speak. Even another poet from Bihar, Ashini, he was also, he confirmed that. So he used to speak Maghi. How do you say? He saved me. Tathagata saved me. I was into it. I was into his philosophy. I didn't practice anything, but I realized the power of, you know, the power of the power of his. I had a series of poems at that time. Now, the poem that uh, she has translated, Amrita has translated in this book, uh, the poem is called Tathagata. 11 parts. I would request her to read only two small parts, and I will follow with the Bengal.
Hello. Yeah, that would be. Uh, तथागत आपसे कोई अगर तुम्हें अश्विन की सुबह जूता मारे तुम क्या करोगे तथागत? तथागत ने कहा, अग्रहायण के नियमानुसार जूते का क्षय तय है। मेरी भी बदले की भावना कम हो जाएगी फागुन के आते आते। लेकिन जिसने मुझे जूता मारा था पिछले 3 सहस्त्र वर्षों से उस जूते की कील कुरेद रही है उसे। फिर लौट आया है अश्विन, क्या जूता नहीं मारोगे?
তথাগত আপনাকে তোমাকে যদি কেউ আশ্বিনের সকালে জুতো মারে, তুমি কি করবে তথাগত? তথাগত বললেন, অঘ্রাণের নিয়মে জুতোর ক্ষয় হয়। আমারও প্রতিহিংসার ইচ্ছা কমে আসবে ফাল্গুনে, কিন্তু যে আমাকে জুতো মেরেছিল সে জুতোর পেরেক গত ৩,০০০ বছর তাকে খুঁচিয়ে চলছে। আবার আশ্বিন এসে গেল, জুতো ছুটবে না?
कोई अगर तुम्हारे मुंह से निवाला छीन ले तुम क्या करोगे तथागत? तथागत ने कहा, जिसके पास रोटी है वह रोटी छीनने नहीं आता, जिसके पास नहीं है उसे खाने दो। अगर खाने नहीं देते इसके बाद जिनके पास रोटी है वे हो जाएंगे एक, उनके पास नहीं वे बना लेंगे दूसरा दल। छिड़ जाएगा गृह युद्ध इनके। ऐसे जानते हो जिनके पास रोटी है जीतेंगे वही।
কেউ যদি তোমার মুখ থেকে খাবার কেড়ে নেয় তুমি কি করবে তথাগত? তথাগত বললেন, যার খাবার আছে সে খাবার কেড়ে নিতে আসে না, যার নেই তাকে খেতে দাও। যদি খেতে নাও দাও, এরপর কিন্তু যাদের খাবার আছে তারা একটা দল হয়ে যাবে, যাদের খাবার নেই তারা একটা দল হবে, এদের একটা গৃহ, তবে কিন্তু যাদের হাতে খাবার আছে তারাই জিতবে।
शत्रु का सम्मान करना उचित है? तुम्हारी क्या राय है तथागत? तथागत ने कहा, जो तुम्हें समाप्त करने के बारे में सोच रहा है, जब तक वह स्वयं समाप्त नहीं हो जाता, तब तक उसका सम्मान करो। यहाँ तक कि अगर दुश्मन की लाश सड़क पर पड़ी हो, उसे सम्मान से उठाकर ले आओ छाँव में, उसे नहलाओ, हो सके तो छुप के गुसलखाने में जाकर अपने 2 आँसू बहा आओ। तथागत ने कहा, वो तुम्हारा दुश्मन हो सकता है, लेकिन इंसानियत के नाते उसका भी कुछ अधिकार था, क्या वो तुम नहीं हो?
শত্রুকে সম্মান করা উচিত, তোমার কি মত তথাগত? তথাগত বললেন, সে তোমাকে শেষ করে দেওয়ার কথা ভাবছে, সে নিজে যতক্ষণ শেষ না হচ্ছে ততক্ষণ তাকে সম্মান করো। এমনকি শত্রুর ডেড বডি যদি পড়ে থাকে রাস্তায়, তাকে সম্মান করে তুলে আনো ছায়া, তাকে স্নান করাও, পারলে লুকিয়ে যাও, চোখে জল ফেলে এসে পাপ দিও। তথাগত বললেন, সে তো সত্যি হতে পারে, কিন্তু মানুষের কাছে তারও একটা পাওনা ছিল, এটা তুমি দেবে না। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। I'm a little bit confused about the time. It's 5:10. Do you want me to continue? Okay, sure. I have a lot of stories to tell you. You know, there is a video by Salman Rushdie, um, in which he said, "We need stories. Human beings love stories. We want to hear about human beings. We want to hear stories about you, about everybody. When you have a man sitting next to you, he's a story, it's a big story, maybe 800 pages, 900 pages, or maybe 1,000 pages. So everybody is a story. But I believe even in a storybook, you have some poems. Without poems, you cannot have story. So they go, because I made use of stories in my poems. And that's why I was, sometimes I was debunked. I was criticized. I was described why uh, poetry used as a kind of narrative. So there was a time when I used this poem. Even the poem that I read, Bhalo Jaigata Kothay, there is a pattern. Even Tathagata, there is a pattern, of almost like stories and poems come together and they coalesce and they confront each other. Many of my poems, many of my books, so far I have published, including the last one published at the Calcutta Book Fair in 2025. including that book. So I have 48 books, published books. I have written them in 50 years. I have just, last month, I have completed 50 years of my writing because I started early and publishing early. When I was college student, I started publishing. So, so many books, so many poems. I wonder, how did I write? Every morning I felt that my morning begins possibly at 6, 6:30, and I need at least 3, 4 hours in the morning. I may write, I may not write. I may discard the poem that I have written before. That is also a part of writing. So this is very important for me. In the morning, don't get 3, 4 hours. I feel the whole day is lost. And that is why, throughout my academic career, for 35 years, I never took any morning class. I used to have, always I requested my principal and my head of the department, always requested them to give me class after 1 p.m., after 2 p.m. I'm ready to teach my students up to I think 7 in the evening. I don't mind. Even if the college is closed, I can teach them under the tree. I don't mind. But no class, please, in the morning, in the first half of the day. So, and they allowed me for 35 years. I'm grateful to uh, my college where I taught for 35 years at City College in Calcutta. And did I write every morning? Is it possible for any poet? It was my ambition that I should write every day. This is what Shunil Gangopadhyay, everybody knows Shunilda. Shunilda told me, yes, whether you write or don't write, sit, focus on the table. It's like he was a kind of Gnostic man, but he used to mean that, it's like a worshipper. You gets inside a temple and you perform your rites. So possibly I was influenced by his opinion, and I started writing every day. But writing every day, it could make 100 books of my books. It's impossible. You cannot write every day. Throughout my career, protest poem became a kind of poetry that I wanted to introduce. It's protest, but it's not like kind of not kind of this kind of protest. You can protest it in a very low voice. You can say something important, not by shouting, in a very low voice. You, as if you were talking privately to your girlfriend. It can be protest. But many of my poems centered around the events which were taking place. So in 90s, in the first decade of this century, and also in the second decade. So 30 years, so many things happened. So many terrible days we spent, not only in India or Bengal, but also outside. In, so the game came into my poetry. And if any researcher wants to do a research, he can, without any history book, he can, if he reads my poems, whether you like my poetry or not, but it's true that if you read my poems, it will give you the history of last 40 years, not only of Bengal, but also India and outside also. In that huge bulk of protest poems, I choose to read only one poem here today. That was the poem I wrote in 2006. It is called, some of you have heard this poem before. Forgive me, I'm going to read it again. This poem is called Monipurer Ma. I read just the original poem in just two, three stanzas, and then I will follow with the translation. মণিপুরের মা নগ্ন উঠে দাঁড়ালো আমার মণিপুরে। এই মায়ের দু চোখ থেকে চোখ পেয়েছি, আশিরন ভাষা পেয়েছি, পেয়েছি সারে গামা, নগ্ন উঠে দাঁড়ালো আমার মণিপুরের মা। আর্মি জিপ চলে গগন তলে, আর্মি জিপ সারে জাহান, আর্মি জিপে পেটি আছড়া, আর্মি জিপে বোতাম খোলা চলে। ও মেয়ে যদি ফিরেও আসে ঘরে, ও মেয়ে যদি গগন তলে মরে, পুলিশ মুছে দিয়েছে তার নাম। বাড়ি কোথায়? ইম্ফলের বাইরে কোনো গ্রাম। এসব ঘটে রোজ। কোথায় কোন কোথায় কোন তরুণী পড়ে আছে, কোথায় তার খোঁজ, শুধু তাদের জরুরি আছে। কিন্তু আজ জুলাই মাসে হারালো বিপদ সীমা, উঠে দাঁড়ান নগ্ন হয়ে স্তন্য দায়নীরা। পৃথিবী দেখ, মায়ের বুকে কখনো খুশিরা, কেমন লাগে নগ্ন হলে তোর নিজের মা। This poem was translated. I sat with the American poet Christopher Merrick, who is now the director of IW at the University of America. So we sat together to translate this poem. I'm just reading it out to you. Mothers of Manipur. You know that as many as 14 mothers came down to the streets and they stood naked in front of the Assam Rifle quarters in Imphal. And that became a national headline in the year 2006. That night, I thought my mother was also standing naked with those 14 Manipuri mothers. I wrote this one that night. Mothers of Manipur, naked, they stood up. My mothers of Manipur, my eyes are born from their eyes. All that I speak is from them, from their music. Naked, they stood up. My mothers. Can the army and the police do anything they like? Nobody is allowed in the streets. Only smoke goes by. Nobody can speak up. No way to protest. Naked they stood up. My mother. Army jeeps move around under the sky. Army jeeps sing our national song. There is unbuttoning in one jeep. A girl reeled into the jeep. Should the girl go home? Should the girl die under the sky? The police have erased her name. What's her address? A village outside Imphal. That is what happens every. A young girl is found unconscious. Somewhere else, a younger sister missing. Only their skirts flutter. But in the month of July, the limit is passed. Naked they stood up, the breast milk givers. Let the world watch the veins in their chest. How do you feel when you see your own mother naked? as Assam rifles shut down the gates. I feel as I did in the I feel the river Ganga streaming out hot. The mothers of Manipur redefine us, where mothers walk naked in protest. Colonels, commanders, what did you do? Do you think your mom still remains your mom? She's burning. She's burning. She's burning inside every mother. A mother within. Now, if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. Or if you can inspire me to speak one line more or two lines more, anything you. Nirmalda said 20 minutes more. I took 15 minutes. I am terribly against lyric poetry. I am extremely sorry, madam. I am what I am is because of the fact that I am anti-lyrical. When I started writing poetry, then everybody discussed, everybody said, don't write this way. You cannot write it in this manner. Stop it. Even big poets, they all advise me, don't write this way. So I said, yes, I want to be anti-lyrical. Yes, that's great. That's great. You know, it doesn't mean that I don't like lyrics. I like Kabir, I like Tukaram, I like Tagore so much, you know. I cannot survive without his book of poems. And Hindi little atrocious also. It would have been atrocious if I would write in Hindi. And I never tried. English as a language is that gave me food. English as a language gave me food. That's my relationship with English. And I'm sorry, I was privileged. I should say, you know, in India and also abroad, if you know English, you are privileged. And I always hated this kind of business, you know, wherever I went, but I had to accept. So, point is, when I was teaching in America at the University of Iowa. I was on Fulbright fellowship. I was teaching and I was teaching post-colonial literature. So, and you know, every time it reminded me of my mother saving her own food and giving me the food from the plate. That is what I have read this morning. And not, you know, I could not go beyond that. I was carrying a city on my back in America. I have been to America for more than, and every time I hated to be there, but I enjoyed at the same time because you know it gives you money, it gives you a lot of things, it gives you publicity, it gives you uh, blah 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 kind of thing. You know, it gives you girlfriends, a lot of things. Not for me, for Roshini. So so it's like that, you know. Mr. Joyda, what do you think? Yes. So it's like that. People are privileged. So, but I thought that it is, if I cannot write in Bengali, if I cease to write in Bengali, then I cease to be a poet. I'm dead. Even when I was in America, when I was teaching, uh, you know, I every morning I tried to write Bangla. So without Bangla, I cannot survive a single day. One poem, Ranjida. Huh? Huh? Right, right. Even I used to teach Homer when Homer was included in our syllabus in Calcutta University. I was also instrumental for it. So we included Homer the same year. We included Ezekiel. So I had that range. I was teaching Homer in one class, and I was teaching Islam Ezekiel in another. So it's like that. And I was teaching Anantamurti in America. So I think these things helped me a lot. I was teaching Mahashata Devi and Shunil Gangopadhyay along with Anantamurti. So and they were so surprised. Each and every word was new to them. But the American students forget the American chapter. So the main thing is my Bangla, the language I was born in, and I believe that language that I'm going to die with. So and in between, moonlight, you have protest, you have decay, destruction. Whenever I look around, I feel a lot of decays, a lot of destruction. But still we wait for the moonlight. That's all between death. What finally you get to poetry? Tiwariji is sitting here. He has been he used to it surprised me a lot. He used to publish a magazine, a little magazine. I used to get it by Indian Post. He used to write address in his own hand, handwriting. It's not typed. And he used to send to the Indian poets. And he never took any ad from it. Even when he was the president of Sahitya Akademi, I had never seen any single item or any ad in his channel. So this is something great. We are not going to get any money. Why do they write? I after 50 years. We don't do anything. Thank God Sahitya Academy pays a little. But still we don't know what to get. Yes, we go there. Yeah. Ashanagar, the latest issue, is carrying poems by Onamika. The latest we published in Calcutta Book Fair. Poems by, I mean, all translated into Bengali by Oshini Kumar, by Tiwariji, uh, and who else here is? Yeah, Shubro is here. His poems. And I'm going to include, you find contributors here, lots of writers. So we have been running this magazine. Now I'm doing it single-handedly. So, without getting any ad from any government or any from anywhere, or even from Sahitya Academy, nowhere, even not from my friends. I can ask Mrityunjoy to please arrange an ad for me. He will do it happily, but I will never ask. So we have been doing it, and I'm happy. We don't expect anything from anybody, but I'm happy that Oshini's poems are done in Bengali. Tiwari's poems are done in Bengali. A lot of people were asking me before I came to Delhi, যে অনামিকাজি's a book, where can I find? One professor from Shantiniketana telephoned me and asked about uh, her poems. Having read your translations in Bengali, so I think English is no answer for English. The answer is Hindi, Malayali, in Malayalam, Marathi, Kannada, Bangla, Assamia. These are the answers. We have to get translated into our own language. English is no reply. It can work like a biodata. Every book looks like here we have English writers like Ashwini. Ashwini won't mind. He also believes in my theory that it is that he is linguistically possibly he is displaced. That's why he is writing in English. If you are not linguistically displaced, you cannot write another language. Why should you write? You should write in your own language. And I find a lot of Bihari writers are now writing in English. Very interesting thing. A lot of writers were writing Bangla. Bangla from when the British came to India, first in India, first in Kolkata, then some of the great writers started writing, including Bankim Chandra, started writing in English. That's a different chapter. You don't find that writing. If you are displaced like Abu or others, then you go abroad, you settle there, you write like Chitra Divakaru. They are writing from there. It's a different milieu, it's a different way of life. But even we have a lot of Bengali poets still writing from America in English, not in English, but in English. So it happens, it doesn't mean that you are in America, so you will write in English. It doesn't mean, it's no justification. It's within you. How you have shaped out your mind, it depends on that. So I hope that as Nirmalda was asking me about the market, that we have also translated Shochi's essay. Uh, uh, and as Shochin is there, for example, Jash Chandra, Shidanshu Jash Chandraji was almost a regular name in Kashmir. So we have translated, Ritu Barnaji is sitting there. We have translated his poem. So if I can find, so many writers there. So Bhatanagar is a legacy in Bengal, a legacy of Indian poetry in Bengal. Please. This is the great question. It's Bangladesh is burning. And if it is a body that is burning in Bangladesh, it is the mind in Kolkata that is burning now as well. So uh, what you find, there was no cultural divide. There was no linguistic divide between them. And we had regular, regular contacts with the writers of Bangladesh. And now they're wounded like animals and running around, escaping from their own land, entering into the territory of India. And even they find that India is not safe for them. They're planning to run away to Canada, to America, to Europe, and a lot of. So what is happening there? For me as a writer, and for the communication was so profound with them. So it's really, it's like bleeding, and but we have to accept the reality. And I was I was in awe. I was terribly surprised that the people, the country, the language that we created, especially language, on the basis of language. And that's why we have 21st February as International Mother Tongue Day. It is because of them. Antarjatik Matritbhasha Divas. So it is UNESCO recognized their fight for language. And now it is just opposite. They are destroying language. They're destroying the country. They're destroying their freedom. And for their freedom, India gave everything to them. Think about Indira Gandhi, the way she fought, and the way she fought with Kissinger at White House. And so we contribute so hugely to their freedom. And now they are saying that India is their enemy. It is, I am speaking apart from the political and international situation. I am speaking as if my mother, my father, they ran away from. So it continues. It continues. That is why I said at the beginning that it is the largest migration in the history of man for more than 75 years. And so my poems, I wrote as a schoolboy. It was there. Bangladesh was there. And now, as an old man, I am writing poems today. And still, Bangladesh, how can I live without it? How can I live with my language in the other part? There was an international boundary, international boundary, but you cannot stop a cloud. The cloud comes from Dhaka University to Kolkata University, and it rains. The birds come. Oh, thank you so much, Roshini. So this is how it is going on. So I believe, and as far as literature is concerned, music is concerned, it's going to be a kind of demand. We had huge reading public in Bangladesh. Now the books published in Kolkata cannot go. It, if they are smuggled out to Bangladesh, that's just, they cannot go to Bangladesh now. And we had a regular, it's kind of passes to Bangladesh and their passes to India. So it has been almost cut. It has been stopped also. And let us hope for a better too.
I want to give you a present.
It's a story book, just one story. Thank you so So thank you all. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm honored that you have all come today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.